Throughout history, the world population has remained consistent, increasing at a steady rate every century. However, at the introduction of the modern age, human population began to skyrocket from 1 to 7 billion within a brief time frame. It was the period of enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution that worked in tandem to both create the conditions necessary for rapid population growth and to birth the experts in order to analyze the causes this growth has had. The Enlightenment era brought forth some of the greatest scientific minds. People could finally separate themselves from church rule, enabling them to conduct research without fear of repercussions, which allowed the knowledge of human health and medicine to rapidly grow. Previously, illnesses were justified by religious interpretations. However, by the time of the Enlightenment, people began to dissociate religion from science, permitting them to discover the underlying causes of disease contraction. With this concept becoming well understood, doctors could implement effective prevention methods. People began to live longer and more comfortable lives, which allowed them to make more advancements within their societies. These advancements led to the Industrial Revolution, which was the establishment of machinery into societies, replacing human workers. It declined the global mortality rate of children and infants and caused the life expectancy of the elderly to rise. The decrease in mortality led to an increase in productivity, which prompted innovations such as vaccines, anesthetics, x-rays, and blood transfusions. Moreover, changes in food production, such as genetically engineered crops, have increased the agricultural productivity, allowing the population to grow at a sustainable rate. Two critical theorists to know that have analyzed the future of population growth are Thomas Malthus and Esther Bozorov. Malthus believed the population was multiplying at a rate so large it would eventually surpass the rate of food production. Charles Darwin even referenced this theory in his book, The Origin of Species. He agreed that humans do in fact have a high potential fertility and added that population remains constant due to limited resources, famine, and diseases, which he called negative checks. Malthus's claim had become controversial since genetically engineered crops enabled people to support a growing population, which paved the way for Bozorov to develop her theory. Bozorov was an economist focused on agricultural production. She believed agriculture can and will increase as necessary with regards to the population. However, critics argue that there must be a limit to how much the earth can handle, which is why Malthus's theory has been reconsidered. Neo-Malthusians believe Malthus could have been right in the method in which population resources grow, but the rate of resource production may have been miscalculated due to the absence of more modern agricultural techniques. To further understand the demographic effects of the Industrial Revolution, geographers have developed the demographic transition model. It is a time graph broken into 4 phases that measures the average birth and death rates from the pre-industrial era through the industrial era in correlation to the total population. It is used to study how birth and death rates affects population over time. Parameters such as total fertility, mortality, life expectancy, and natural increase rate help geographers analyze demographic patterns. Taking note of all the parameters, the United Nations annually comes out with a draft of predictions for how they think the global population will change in the subsequent years. The most current one, released in 2015, shows that the global population is slowing down due to lower fertility rates. They predict by 2050 the mass of the population will be in the elderly and the young, and the child mortality rate will drastically decrease in less developed countries. It is important to understand why population has risen so rapidly within the recent history. Scientists are still trying to predict the effects that this has had on the world environment through urbanization, pollution, and climate changes. Although we could not prevent the rapid population growth, we can work to manage and minimize the negative outcomes it has had on the Earth. Starting with simple things such as recycling and reusing, we can drastically minimize the amount of products manufactured annually to support the world's materialistic population. Furthermore, Talking about the issues revolving around population growth will drive in awareness and support, enabling researchers to discover effective ways to maintain balance between the population size and ecological limits, as well as implementing solutions to damage caused by humans living in high concentrations. The change does not come instantly, but with time, results can emerge.